Hello, welcome to Crafty Culture at Home. I'm Barbara. I'm a visual artist and a tutor. I work at the West End Centre in Aldershot. And today I'm going to show you how to make some treble stitches in rows. And I'm also going to show you how to change colour. And hopefully by the end of it, you can make something like this, like a little bow. So what do you need to make this? You need some wool, so at least 2 colours of wool, and this is chunky wool. That's really nice. That's quite nice and big because you can see the stitches like this. You also need a hook. This is a 6mm hook, so that's quite good, and also a pair of scissors, and if you have one, a yarn needle. So in terms of experience, what do you need? Probably the best is if you can crochet a little bit already, if you can hold the hook and the yarn, if you know how to make chain stitches, and maybe if you know how to do double crochet stitches. So the first thing I'm going to do is a slip knot. A slip knot is not just a normal knot, it's a loop within a loop. And to do a slip knot, I just use my left hand and I put my 2 fingers like this. I leave a long tail at the front, I wrap it around, then I hold it with my left hand, and with my right hand I go at the back of the loop and then I grab that loop, and there you have it, a slip knot that you can adjust, that you could make smaller or bigger according to what you need to do. Then I'm going to get my hook, which I hold in my right hand because I'm right-handed, and then I'm going to put the hook through the loop, adjust the loop a little bit so there's just a little bit of space, and then I'm going to start making some chains, and to do some chains I hold the yarn with my left hand, and I do what's called yarn over like this, and then I'm going to slip the loop within the other one. That's one chain, and I'm probably going to do about 13-14 chains for making a bow. So that's one chain, 2, I'm going to continue, 3, 4, and you don't want your chains to be too tight. As you can see, they're quite nice and open because you're going to want to create some stitches in there. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I'm just going to look how that chain looks, if it's big enough. I think that's a good size for a bow. And then what we're going to do as well, we're going to add 3 more chains, and those are going to be our turning chains, which means they're going to be chains like a little ladder that we have at the beginning of our row. So I'm going to do 3 more. 1, 2, 3. And then now I'm going to start making the treble crochet, and just like when we did the double crochet in my previous video, we're going to go into those stitches. So to make a treble crochet, you need to yarn over first before you do anything else. You yarn over, make sure you put the wool at the back there so it doesn't come in your way, and then with the pointy bit there of the hook, I'm going to go into some chains, and I'm going to count 3 chains from my hook, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go in the 4th one there, if you can see where my thumb is. So I'm going to go in with the pointy bit, then I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to slip that last loop through that one. So that's 1 step done with 3 loops left, and then I'm going to yarn over again, and this time I'm going to put this loop through these 2 there in the middle. So that's the 2nd step of my treble stitch, treble crochet, and then the final one, yarn over, and this time I'm going to put this loop through this too. That's it. So as you can see, I have just made a treble crochet there. So it's a stitch that's a little bit taller. That's quite nice and quick. And then this one at the end, that's my chains, my 3 chains, which actually are a little ladder, but they count as the first stitch as well. So now I'm going to continue. I'm going to crochet all along that row, 1 treble stitch into each chain until I reach the end, until I reach the knot. So I'm going to repeat what I've just done. So yarn over first, make sure it's at the back, then I'm going to go into the next stitch along, so you can see where you've just made your last stitch there, where my thumb is. There is the chain is a little bit wider, and then you can see your stitch. So I'm just going to go to the next one along with the pointy bit of the hook. Then I'm going to yarn over, pull that loop through that one. That's step 1. Step 2, yarn over, go through 2 loops, and then step 3, yarn over, go through 2 loops again, and there is another treble crochet stitch made. And I'm going to continue, yarn over, go through the next stitch, yarn over, go through 1, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and you can see, you could check how your work is building up. So continuing with that, yarn over, go through the stitch, yarn over, go through 1, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, just continuing with that row until you get to the end. So as you can see, it's building up quite nicely. It's quite a tall stitch. And then it's quite important maybe not to be too tight. I quite like my crochet nice and relaxed. You get a bit into a rhythm. And then there, that is my last stitch, because I've just reached the knot. So I'm just going to check my row. I think it looks right. And I'm going to count how many stitches I've got so that I know for the next row how many stitches I need to make sure I have, so I keep my edges nice and straight. So in this instance, I'm actually going to count this chain. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13, which is what I planned. And now I'm going to show you how to do the next row. And just like I did with the bow, we're going to change colour. So in this instance, the easiest way to change colour is we're just going to cut. So I'm going to take the hook off, making sure I've got the loop nice and big. And then I'm going to cut, just leaving a tail. And then I'm just simply going to make a knot, put the wool through the loop and pull. So now that I've finished my row, I've done the knot on this row, and I'm going to show you how to join a new colour. So the simplest way to do this is to knot the new colour just near the knot of the purple colour. So I'm just going to knot this around the purple wool and then just put the knot as closely as possible to the other. And then before I start my new row, I also need to flip the work over because I am always going to be going from the right to the left. And I'm going to put the hook underneath. If you can see the top of the work of the stitches that we've just made, I'm just going to put the pointy bit of the hook underneath those loops, those two loops there. And then I'm going to simply grab the green wool and just put it over, and I'm ready to work. I've got those tails there, but I'm not going to worry about them. We'll hide them later. So first of all, I'm going to start with 3 chains. There it is. And then I'm going to make those stitches. So we're going to make the same thing. We're going to make treble stitches. It's just going to be a little different because instead of making them into the chains, we're just making them in the spaces there on top of the treble stitches. So underneath, I'm going to turn the work a little bit, underneath the 2 loops, which is at the top. But otherwise, it's the same thing. We yarn over, make sure the wool is at the back, and then go with the pointy bit under those 2 loops, yarn over, and then those 2 loops, those purple loops there, they just count as 1 in this instance. So we're going to put the green loop underneath the 2 purple loops there. So that's step 1 of our treble stitch. Step 2, yarn over, go through 2 loops. Step 3, yarn over, go through 2 loops again. And as you can see, so we've got those 3 chains, which are the first stitch, and then the treble crochet I've just made. And I'm going to continue making those stitches all along the green stitches on top of the purple one. Yarn over, go through, come back up, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and again yarn over. So make sure you go under the 2 loops, not just 1. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and again, yarn over, go through 2, and just have a look at your stitches as they're forming. Yarn over, go in the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. I'm just going to continue making those stitches along. Until I reach the end. And then the end bit is always a little bit tricky. It's always the end and the beginning. So in this instance, I am actually going to go and do the last stitch in the last chain of the previous row. I'm going to count my stitches to see if I've got the same number as below. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 12, and I'm pretty sure I had 13 on the previous one, so I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I'm going to need to make one there in the top chain. So if you can see at the end of the purple row, we made 3 chains. So we're just going to go through the loop, the last loop of those chains, to make our last treble. And there you have it. You have the second row of your bow. And then we're going to repeat the same as we did in the other row. Take the hook, cut. Just easier with my right hand. Put the loop through and then turn it over, ready to start the next row. So I'm going to get my purple wool. Tie it just like before, make the knot. Then turn, that's already turned. And put my hook through, ready to start. So I'm going to make 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, ready to start my next row. Yarn over, go in, and this time those are you're crocheting in exactly the same way as you crocheted from the previous row. So this should feel a little bit more familiar. Yarn over, go in the stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, and again. I'm nearly at the end of my row. And you can see it's quite nice, those stripes. So remember at the end, we've also got to crochet in the chain. So on the green row there, we've got the 3 chain. So I'm going to crochet into the top one. Pushing, it's a bit tight. And there is my last chain, my last treble. And I'm going to count that I've got the right number of stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's right. And then I'm going to cut. Pull through. So there is my little rectangle ready to be made into a bow. So to hide all those tails, what you can do is you can use a hook. You just need to weave them in and out. Just like so. So they just disappear. You just try not to bunch too much. So you keep doing that. The other way that you can make those tails disappear is by using a yarn needle. Like this one. Just push things in. Maybe I'll do this one. And then you can just hide into the work. Like this. Try not to bunch things up. So you just continue hiding the work. And then when you've hidden all your tails, you can just get a piece of wool and just tie it over. And then it means that you will have a bow like this one. Thank you very much for listening today, and I hope you can make a start on crochet. Thank you. Bye.